One of my favorite characters from Tron Legacy is Quorra, the ISO who keeps Kevin Flynn company in the many years of his exile. Played by actress Olivia Wilde, Quorra is at times an unpredictable element in the story and is an effective go-between between Kevin and his son Sam, whose relationship can at times be strained. Most of what we know about Quorra comes directly from the movie Tron Legacy. So, in this little video, I discuss the events of that movie in which Quorra was involved. Her first appearance comes when Sam Flynn is dueling Clue on the grid, just after Sam inadvertently lasers himself into the electronic world. Quorra watches the game unfold and reacts when it becomes apparent Clue is dueling Kevin Flynn's son. When the latter is nearly killed, Quorra enters the game with her quad racer and nearly manages to kill Clue. A pursuit by Winsler is fruitless as Quorra and Sam jump into the Outlands. An unsure Sam is introduced to Quorra and the viewer get the confirmation that it is the character played by Olivia Wilde. She reassures Sam that all of his questions will be answered soon. She also makes a side glance at Sam, indicating she is interested in him. Once at Kevin's lair, things quickly fall into place. Kevin has been hiding from Clue since 1989, and Quorra has been his pupil. As Clue's position becomes more untenable, he hopes to overthrow him with the help of Quorra. However, Sam and Kevin also make recriminations toward each other. Sam believes his father should have fought harder, while Kevin blames Clue's access to the portal on Sam. Quorra tries to help Sam by giving him the address to a contact she has, Zeus, who runs the End of Line Club. Sam seeks safe passage to the portal. Instead, Zeus betrays him to Clue's guards. The ensuing fight is only resolved when Quorra and Kevin rescue Sam. Sadly, Quorra is badly injured and Kevin's disc is stolen and falls into the hands of Clue. Kevin settles another argument by suggesting they follow Sam's idea. They hurriedly board a transport to the portal in the hopes of beating Clue to it. On the transport, Kevin tries to heal Quorra. The procedure allows Sam to see her code, which on the surface appears to have some similarities to DNA. Sam deduces Quorra is an isomorphic algorithm, basically a naturally occurring program that Kevin talked about before he vanished in 1989. The procedure to heal Quorra is successful and she is fully healed. Afterwards, her bond with Sam strengthens when he explains to her the delight of seeing a sunrise. The bond appears to meet with the approval of Kevin. The transport is intercepted by Clue's carrier and Winsler carefully checks for potential stowaways. Quorra decides to take a major risk. She allows herself to be captured just to give Kevin and Sam a chance to escape, though she does hand the disc to Kevin. Clue appears to take a special interest in Quorra after she is brought to him. The audience of course knows he wiped out most of the ISOs during his purge from Kevin's telling of those events. Yet despite knowing she is an ISO as well, he does not kill her, but appears to understand that as a one of a kind, there is a unique opportunity. This proves that Clue has the ability to grow beyond his original programming. Kevin and Sam decide to rescue Quorra and take back Kevin's disc to prevent Clue from moving his army from the electronic world into the real world. Kevin steals a light jet while Sam gains access to the command bridge and kills the guards. After taking back Kevin's disc, Sam is confronted by Winsler, who is holding Quorra captive. Sam deceives him by not only throwing his own disc, but also that of Kevin. That, together with Quorra pushing him aside, sends Winsler tumbling. After his rescue, they manage to escape the bridge in a makeshift parachute and use the light jet to escape from the carrier. Naturally, Clue and Winsler pursue the trio as they continue to make their way to the portal. In the fight that ensues, Winsler dies after remembering his past as TRON, and the trio shake off Clue, though Kevin Flynn appears skeptical and asks a special favor from Quorra. At the portal, we learn that Clue got there first and appears hellbent to take Kevin's disc back and escape from the grid. Quorra and Sam manage to bypass Clue, and when Clue approaches Sam, Quorra defends him. Clue decides not to risk it and steals Kevin's disc, only to discover he was deceived and actually holds Quorra's disc, useless for his purpose. As a vengeful Clue approaches Quorra, Kevin decides to reintegrate with Clue, this destroying them both but saving Sam and Quorra. They enter the portal together and travel to the real world. However, the viewer is briefly left guessing whether Quorra made it. We see Sam creating a copy of his father's program before he leaves the arcade, but we don't see Quorra. Not until after his conversation with Alan do we see Quorra mounting Sam's motorcycle. Later on, we see them ride off into the sunrise, with Quorra visibly stunned by seeing the sun. Quorra does make a number of other appearances in the franchise, notably in the music video for Daft Punk's track The Rest. In it, she duels as a knight against another warrior. Another depiction is in TRON Evolution, the 2010 video game set between the events of TRON and TRON Legacy. Evolutions is the sequel to the graphic novel TRON Betrayal. Her role in Evolution is quite large. Basically, the story depicts Clue's final push to become the ruler of the grid at a time when ISOs were already actively being hunted down. By the end of the game, Quorra is rescued in the Outlands by Flynn, who becomes her mentor. That said, more than anything else, I want to know how Quorra will fare in the real world, and what happens to her burgeoning relationship with Sam. So here is hoping Olivia Wilde will reprise her role as the character, hopefully in the upcoming TRON 3 movie that should begin shooting starting this spring. Quorra is an ISO or isomorphic algorithm, but what do we really know about them? According to Flynn, ISOs simply manifested themselves in the grid. They weren't programmed by an outside user, they are the result of a digital evolution, thus bridging the electronic world and the real world. According to Flynn, their unique nature would revolutionize our understanding of science and medicine. As ISOs naturally evolved in the electronic world, their nature grants them more independence of thought as compared to traditional programs. Their code even resembles DNA of sorts. However, their random appearance contradicted with Clue's desire to create a perfect system, and this led to his attempt at overthrowing Flynn. Fans have long speculated to hidden meanings behind the inclusion of ISOs in the franchise. The symbols on their skin have multiple meanings. The hexagonal benzene ring is also part of the four building blocks of DNA, an obvious reference to an organic connection. Also, the way the symbols are oriented with either an additional T or V are indicative of either female or male. If there is one criticism I have of the concept of ISOs, is that they are very much a mystery box, a construct to obviously further the plot without really providing meaningful answers to the audience. But I could be unfair on that. After all, who doesn't like a good mystery? And if it worked on a series such as Lost and Westworld, why not TRON? Well, that was it for my brief overview of Quorra's involvement in TRON Legacy. I hope you liked this video. Please like it if you can, or subscribe to my channel.